Hello, my name is Jasmine Elliott, and I'll be going over 5.2 addition and subtraction of integers. When teaching adding and subtracting with negative and positive numbers to younger students, it is easy to show them rather than to just tell them. Illustrate the sum -3 plus 5 using colored counters. This will be our negative, and this will be our positive. So -3 would be 3 open circles plus +5, which will be 5 closed circles, so you put them all together. And you realize that the pairs cancel out because -1 plus +1 will give you 0. So a closed circle plus an open circle is 0, which means it cancels out. So that one cancels out, that one cancels out, that one cancels out, which leaves you with 2. So -3 plus 5 equals +2. Illustrating the sum with colored counters. For more examples, you have -2 plus -4. So our open circles are our negative ones. So we have 2 negative open circles plus 4 negative open circles. And you add them all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll get 6 open circles. And since they're open circles, it will be -6. For 5 plus -7, 5 is positive, so you'll have 5 closed circles. And 7 open circles. But knowing that a closed circle and an open circle equals 0, because it cancels out, then you will see what's left, which will be 2. There are open circles, which makes it -2. Here we have 4 plus -4, which is 4 closed circles, plus 4 open circles. These all cancel out, which leaves us with 0. Anything added to a negative number is basically subtracting. So 4 plus -4 is the same as 4 minus 4, because when you take the parenthesis away, that positive goes negative. So same way, you will still get 0. So for adding integers, let m and n be positive integers so that -m and -n are negative, then the following are true. -m plus -n equals m plus n with a negative sign in front of it. So -3 plus -5 will be 5 plus 3 with a negative sign in front of it. So it'll be 8 with a negative sign, making it -8. If m is greater than n, then m plus -n equals m minus n. So, like we just talked about in the last one, if m is greater than n, then m plus -n is m minus n. So if 8, which is greater than -4, and you're adding that, you'll get 8 minus 4, which will be 4. If m is less than n, then m plus -n minus m plus -n equals -m plus n. So same thing, but if m is less than, then you will add the negative sign out front. If it was less, you add the negative sign out front. N plus -n equals -n plus n, which equals to 0. which is the same one we just did with illustrating the sum using the colored counters. If 4 plus negative 4 is the question, you will get 0 because that will automatically be 4 minus 4. Now we are performing computations. 12 plus negative 24. 12 is greater than negative 24. Therefore, you'll just do 24 minus 12, which is 12, and then add that negative sign in front of the 12 because 12 is greater than. So M is greater than N. So you will say 12 and then add the negative sign. So for negative 81 plus negative 54, since they're both negative, you put the negative on the outside. 81 plus 54, which gives you 135. And then slap that negative right in front of that 135. So you have 27 plus negative 13. 27 is greater than negative 13. So adding a negative is basically subtracting it. So 27 minus 13 is equal to just 14. Properties of the addition of integers. Let M, N, and R be integers. Then the following holds. Closure property, which means M plus N is an integer. Commutative property, M plus N equals N plus M. Associative property, M plus N plus R equals M plus N plus R. Parenthesis in the first one over the N and R, parenthesis in the second one over the M and N. Additive property of 0. 0 plus M equals M plus 0, which equals M. Existence of negatives. Negative M plus M equals M plus negative M, which equals 0. Number lines are really easy, but with visual learning by adding and subtracting integers when you're first starting to learn. So we draw a number line. For the first one, it is negative 7 plus 4. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7. And we start at 0. So we are trying to illustrate negative 7 plus 4. So we jump to negative 7. And then we're adding 4, and 4 is positive. So we go to the right 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And stops on negative 3. Negative 7 plus 4 equals negative 3. You will also know that because 4 is greater than negative 7. So 7 minus 4. And then you add the negative on the outside, which is 3. Negative 3. Alrighty, so we have 8 plus negative 3. We draw a number line out, put 0 over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, 6, negative 7, and so on. So we start at 0. And we're adding 8. So we jump to 8. Positive 8. Since 8 is positive, you go to the right. But it's a negative 3 that you are adding. And when you add a negative, it's the same as subtraction. So you'll go back 3 and see where that lands you on, which is 5. So 8 plus negative 3, or in this case, 8 minus 3 is 5. When you are first introducing representation, it is better to do it with number lines than with colored counters. Because given that this is our closed circles is our positive, our open circle is our negative. So talking to elementary kids and 5-year-olds that can't tell the difference between negative and positive, you have 3 of a positive and then you have 5 of a negative. you'll see more of the negative than you will of the positive. So they will automatically think that this is more. But we know that 3 is greater than -5. So it's easier to represent when you're first starting to represent with a number line. If a and b are only 2 integers, then precisely one of those 3 possibilities must hold. A is less than b, a equals b, or a is greater than b. Okay. So we need to plot each of the integers and list them in order onto this number line. So -5 will be to the left. This is a negative number. It will be to the left of 0. You'll go 5 spots, which is right there. -9 here. -7 here. 0 where we start. 12 is positive, so it'll be to the right of 0. 12 and then -8 is negative, so it'll be to the left of 0. And we skipped over 1. 7 is also positive, so it'll be to the right of 0. So now we will list them in increasing order, which means smallest to largest. So as the numbers get bigger, they increase. So we have -9, -8, -5, 0, 7, and 12. So -9 is less than -8. -8 is less than -5. -5 is less than 0. 0 is less than 7. And 7 is less than 12. When you're reading in increasing order, you read from the left to the right, smallest to large. All right, so now we're using color counters to illustrate. So our closed circle is our positive, and our open circle is our negative. So we have -7 minus -3, which is -7 plus 3. So you'll do -7 circles. And since those are already negative, you're subtracting -3. So you're subtracting 3. So you'll take away 3 circles, which leaves us with 4. They're open circles. They're negative. The answer is -4. And -7 plus 3 is indeed -4. Next, we have 7. We have 7 closed circles. All 7 closed circles are positive. We're trying to subtract -3 open circles from these 7 closed circles. We don't have any open circles, We don't have any open circles here. So remembering that an open circle and a closed circle is 0 because they cancel out, you can add 3 of those, since that is still the same number, which gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus -3. That is still 7. So this is still 7. But you take away these because we're taking away -3 of 7, which leaves us with 10. And 7 plus 3, or 7 minus -3, is indeed 10. First thing, subtraction of integers. If a, b, and c are integers, then a minus b equals c. If and only if a equals b plus c. Subtracting by adding. Let a and b be any integer, then a minus b equals a plus -b. Now we're about to perform computations. 27 minus 13, an easier way to think about it and to do it is 27 plus -13, which is the same thing as saying 27 plus 13, which is equal to 40. 2 negatives equals 1 positive, always. -13 minus 14 equals, which is also can be written as -13 plus -14. So you can add those together and put the negative on the outside, and you'll get 29. Adding the negative, you'll get negative 29. Now we are illustrating on a number line. We start at 0, and we're going to 7. At 7, we're subtracting 3. 1, 2, 3, which gives us 4. 7 minus 3 equals 4. So as you were subtracting, you go left. When you're adding, you go right. 7 minus negative 3. 7 minus negative 3. So we start at 0, and we go to 7. And 2 negatives equal a positive. So that's like saying 7 plus negative 3, which is 7 plus 3. So we need to make this a little longer. So you'll go to the right 3, since you're adding, and 7 minus negative 3, which is 7 plus 3, is 10, because 2 negatives always equal a positive. Teaching elementary students the basics of adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers is always going to be complicated. But if you know how to use the right techniques and study the right ways to do it, it should be a breeze. Thank you.